Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. You can hear the crunching of the cat. Of course, he starts eating when I turn on the camera. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so, Scorpio, our card tonight is the Ace of Cups. I feel like good things are coming. We're getting out of that valley that we have been in. And so, and so, and so. All right. We have... No. Come on, over here. Come on, over here. Come on, you have to go. I'm sorry, you can't get up there tonight. Go on. Go on. Okay. Sorry, Pudgy, you cannot come up here tonight. But if you want to see Pudgy, he is in the community section. Put up a picture of him getting groomed today. We were kind of hanging out. Okay, so I've spun the cup. We've looked around. We've seen what there is to see. And we're going to start out with the turtle. The little turtle up here. And so we're taking our time with things. And I feel like there is a sense of kind of the long wake up in the morning. But this isn't the kind of waking up where you're lamenting the day, wanting to stay in bed. This is the kind of morning where the sun is shining through your window. You are feeling at the perfect temperature. Nice, warm sun, not too hot, is greeting you, beckoning you to rise and begin the day. And I think that's the feeling. There is a sense of renewal, a sense of reset. You have energy. Some of these worries have washed away. You are ready to get going. You might not have the exact plan for how you're going forward, but I really do think that there is a sense of confidence rising. You are dedicated to finding harmony in your life, to finding success. And I think all of those things are within reach. And definitely being mindful, taking your time, baby steps, okay? Now, I'm looking at this formation here, and it looks like a child in kind of a fetal position, okay? So I feel like you are coming at this from a kind of emotional place of real purity, trying to let go of some of that resentment, the anger, just feeling kind of emotionally constipated. It has really kind of just gotten, to the point of, I think that, you had been on the edge of ruin, really. I mean, I think that at times you just feel like, you know, I don't want to do any of this. I'm going to, you know, sink it all. Like, I'm done. This is too much. Too many bad things going on. Too many wrong mistakes. Too many circumstances working against me. Well, a lot of that, I think, is, you know, we all get into these modes of thinking. The world is against us. The world is after us. The universe is plotting against me. You know, we all kind of feel like that once in a while. And I think that you have kind of let a lot of this wash away, cleared some of that energy. Hopefully you've been able to, you know, clear the energy out of your living space. I think we talked about trying to get some fresh air through. I'm a big believer in when we have these kind of funky feelings that we're going through. We're in, you know, a melancholy. We have a lot of anger, rage, you know, feeling stagnant. I think that it is very important, and I know it's been warm, right? I get it. Or cold if you're in, you know, the southern hemisphere. But getting those windows open when you can, getting some of that air out, bringing in some new air, literally, you know, so that you're not living in this kind of like recycled bad energy, negative energy, kind of old and decaying feeling. I think there's so many times I can think of in my life where I'm just, you know, the curtains are drawn, the air conditioner is on for weeks at a time. I never want to open the windows. I'm feeling stuck, just tired, pent up, like aggression. You know, I just can't seem to get the motivation. And then I realize, you know, I really need to get myself going. I have to open these windows up, you know, let the air in, dust everything, move this energy out of here, you know, cleanse the area, however you like to do that. You know, I like to do some incense. It depends on the time of the year. But you know, I have all kinds of mixes that we make and stuff, and I'm really partial to like the what is it called? Benzoin, I think. Maybe the vanilla smelling, you know. And I always forget, there's one that Paul gave me that it's like it's one of the tree saps, and I always forget what it's called, but I like to roll that with the myrrh or the frankincense, and, you know, just little chips of wood, and get kind of a lot of different things. We really like to get complicated with it sometimes. But anyways, you know, getting things kind of cleared out. And, you know, the interesting thing, if you do use incense in especially frankincense and myrrh, I have read that you know, and interested in these, of course, in the beginning of my use of incense, in the resin form, because they're used obviously in sacred spaces a lot, but finding out that they do have kind of antimicrobial properties, burned in places that are kind of, you know, in a public space where they were having a lot of respiratory diseases passed around. This was kind of something that would be a buffer for that and helpful to stop the spread of. And so that's really interesting. You know, I think that something to keep in mind, you know, the usefulness of some of these things. And of course, do your own research. I am no authority, but yeah. So, but they also smell nice, and I think it just changes the vibe of the space. I'm big on what things smell like, what my house smells like, and you know, the sound, the music, and just the temperature, and you know, within reason, and so you know, I feel like hopefully you've been able to implement some of these things. If you haven't, maybe it's a good time, you know, to do that. I also think keeping an altar, if you are inclined to do so, even if it's a very simple altar. I love window altars, just you know, maybe a couple of rocks, some fruit, you know, some kind of you know, fetish form or sympathetic type form, you know, for whatever it is that you're working on. I leave bowls of water in the windows, and you know, whatever you should research, you know, what speaks to you. Have some kind of idea of what your intentions are, and research what kinds of objects. Or, you know, you could be like me. I do research, but I just am drawn to whatever, you know, natural things I can weave together, or, you know, the plants that I've been growing and drying, and, you know, whatever. I like to make my own little bunches of ceremonial things, or ritual things, or votive things. And so keeping an altar, I think, is good, because not only, even if you don't believe in you know, the power of an altar or objects, just the contemplation and planning that goes into keeping an altar, also the ritual of it, keeping it clean, you know, moving things in and out of the altar, changing their positions, and listening to yourself. I mean, you have to use intention, or you have to use intuition while you are taking care of these types of things, listening to what they're telling you, listening to what you are telling yourself about them. And all of this, I think, is a strengthening tool for your psyche, your connection to your emotionality, and creativity, right? There's a lot of imagination that goes into any kind of spiritual practice. So a win on all sides, in my opinion. So I feel like you're really in this nice place. We also have a bird. It looks like a woodpecker. The woodpeckers are so cute. We have a bunch of different, we have what I think it's called a pilfiated woodpecker that we have here. It's huge. They're huge. They look like some kind of cartoon with a big red head. And when they go crawling up the side of your tree, and you're like, oh, what was that? But they're such hard workers, so diligent, and such a blessing when you see them come around. So I feel that you are really into a place of movement, just going forward, right? I think that you really, well, let's say, you know, Scorpio, you go through highs and lows, okay? You're no stranger to this. There is, you know, somewhat of a mercurial nature, I would say. And that's okay. That's, you know, that's just what it is. And so I think you've learned to kind of navigate yourself sometimes. And now we're going into a place where You're making things work for you. We've had this situation that came up in a couple of readings ago, kind of lasted into this last reading before, and now we're coming out on the other side completely. On to the next thing. I feel like there is a lot of focus on work, making resources, making some money, volunteering, connecting with other people. I think that you really are in a place where you want to be busy. You want to be using your mind. You want to be, using those logical parts of your thinking and, exercising yourself in that way. And I think that is wonderful. I think that hopefully this will be the beginning of a pretty happy cycle coming up here. Okay. And then we have so this one looks like a butterfly. It also looks like a horse. Okay, a person sitting on a horse. So I do think, again, we have this motif of movement, traveling. This is in the emotions. Your emotions you're really, I think, getting very much out of that place, that kind of sunken place that you found yourself in. We have the beautiful little butterfly right here, and another sign of self-evolution, really transformation. And I think, though, because this cycle of things, there was something that was a little more lasting, I believe, as far as whatever turmoil had happened, a big change, a fundamental change in your life in some way. I think that this work will be deeper and more profound. I also think the push to stabilize yourself through work and resources will be much larger than usual. And I can see that, especially with this Ace of Cups, that there will, I really do think there is a lot of love in the work that you do. And so, and maybe finding a new position or kind of a new creative outlet or whatever it is. But I think that this is really going to be the thing where you're going to be finding a lot of fulfillment and opportunities. Okay, so this is, I think, good news all around. Definitely. And I think that this is kind of that big blessing that was going to come out of that, stressful stuff that was happening. Now, I almost see a person who's riding on a snail here. And again, I think just with that slowing things down, I think that with these really, kind of these deep and the word lasting really comes to mind, but these kind of revolution of the things, the aspects of your life that you really know that you need to change. Okay, and you are committed to changing those things. Not just because, you think, oh, I have to, but I think it's like this is the beginning of a new era, right? And I think sometimes it takes some kind of shift, loss of a relationship, job, moving, somewhere without a lot of, foresight about that, having to, go deal with like family things or whatever it is, somebody passing away in the family, these are things that really change our lives. I mean, they really can absolutely, kind of shift the way that we perceive the world, how we perceive life in general. And so I think that as you take this slowly, I think you've already made decisions, right? But I think the execution of these things you are going to do with care. They're going to be meticulously planned and executed here. And I think that this is like building that, this foundation, I feel like, is not going to crack. It's not going to sink. This is like this is the one to carry you into, the next part of your life. And you are going to, like a craftsperson, take great care with how you do this. And I think that there will be much joy in the way that you craft your life. Okay, I feel like you are going to take a lot of pride in whatever it is that you're setting out to do. Okay, and so I really think that this could shape up to be one of the best parts of your life, really. Surprisingly, right? And I feel like that feeling of the morning coming and you are awakening into this kind of clear mind, a pure heart with that kind of baby in the fetal position, really attached to these figures of slow movement. It's movement, but it's slow. Okay, so you're not going to be messing about a lot. And I think that this will be a happy time, ultimately. I see a person kind of walking down a path. I see a tree and a Y. Okay, it doesn't seem like it has leaves on it, but I believe that is all coming, right? You've found your sacred place, and you're going to build out from there. And you've only begun to walk the path. This has been kind of an unplanned shift. You've had these before, though, and you know that you can do this. You must keep in mind on those weary days that, there's no fixed state in life. Nothing lasts. Everything kind of falls into entropy at some point. So, make the best of what you have right now and continue building upon it. It's, I don't know. I mean, for me, of course, we have this instinct for longevity, right? We want to build a legacy. We want to build something for our family that lasts forever. I mean, I don't have that impulse because so many people in my life have passed. Things changed. The world has changed so much since even when I was a kid. Everything moves so quickly. But, I think focusing on finding the things that bring you joy, being with the people you love, doing the work that is meaningful to you, right? Feeling connected to the divine, to the universe. All of these things. I mean, those are worth it in itself. So, and I don't think that you are foreign to this idea either, because I think, Scorpio, like I said, you go through, you're very acutely aware of the ebb and flow of things. Okay. the cycles of things. How you feel about things changes, maybe more so than most other signs. So, I feel like you have, you know, there's a lot of beauty in the way that you live. It can also feel like a torment at times. Thankfully, we're in a zone where we're getting right back into the swing of that beautiful place. And that is wonderful. I'm glad to see that. Okay, so I see a person kind of pointing off into the past a little bit. And I believe... I really believe that, you know, in this cycle, I'm not one to ever tell anybody to just forget about the past or get over it. You know, of course, who am I to talk, right? But I do think that as you are building, I think it's important not to let yourself linger too often in old things. I think that, you know, you deal a lot with, oh goodness, that feeling of like late night shame, right? You know, have you ever had that feeling where you're getting ready to go to bed, you're laying down, and then it's just something hits you from like years ago. It's just, you feel such an intense wave of guilt, shame, wishing things went differently. And that could keep you up half of the night. You know, it just kind of almost these invasive emotional waves of thinking. And this is where we have to really try to think about these kinds of feelings, this kind of revisiting self-mythology, in the way that, you know, you think of like, okay, these are transient thoughts. These are transient emotions. These are not me. These do not belong to me. These are visiting me, and I'm going to let them pass through very quickly. I will not hang on to them. I will not linger in them. I'm just going to let it go. Right? And even if you need to do some kind of, you know, redirection, distractive stuff, do it. You know, when I start to feel like that, if it literally isn't like 3 a.m, of course, but, and I just can't seem to like get past it. I will watch like comedy, listen to a comedy podcast, watch a movie that makes me feel different, listen to music that makes me feel different, go outside, you know, whatever, get some fresh air, you know, whatever it is, something to distract long enough to get you out of that kind of loop of thinking. Okay. All right. And so we're going to pick one of these affirmation cards from the Indigo Sage affirmation card deck. And they're very pretty. They're so pretty. And this one I love. I actually just had a nectarine with dinner. We had a little bit of noodles and I had a nectarine, and it was so good. They're so good when you have them in the refrigerator for a while and they're nice and cold. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, let's see. What is this one here? It's kind of a confirmation for the reading. Okay. Entrance. Love trance. Meditate in appreciation with flowers. Each is a portal to divine love. Yeah, I like that. Go outside. Like I said, when you're feeling that overwhelming, it just grabs you. Don't linger in that. Go find a flower. Go find a tree, a cloud in the sky, you know, a cold nectarine, whatever it is, let it transport you use that as a way to direct yourself out of those dark places. Just let it go. Those are, you know, that guilt, that shame, that is not you. You do not belong to that. It does not belong to you. Okay? You go looking for that divine love. I like that. All right, Scorpio, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And we all know the algorithm kind of decides everything. So we do what it likes and we give it engagement. Liking the video helps, sharing the video on other social medias, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. What else? Oh, and if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell when you subscribe. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Of course, you don't have to do any of these things, but I like to, you know, give this little spiel at the end because if you've watched this long, maybe you want to help support the channel, and these are great ways to support the channel. It really does help. So, other than that, if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get back just because I read them all and I try to reply to each and every one of them. And so, you know, that takes a little bit of time. But I do appreciate them so much. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. You all are so lovely. And I feel very blessed to be able to share this time with you, and also in return sometimes get, you know, a little glimpse at your energies, your you know, the things going on in your lives, the stuff you like to share. Yeah, it is very special to me. Okay, Scorpio, I want to thank you again, and we will talk in just a few days from now.